We had a thriller last night, Jimmy. Did you stay up and watch all of it?
I did. I meant to go to bed at 10 o'clock Central Time, but I just could not do it. I knew that I was witnessing one of just the game of the season. What a perfect way to cap off the regular season 2021-2022 with everything that we've been through this season, everything that we've seen, COVID, the injuries, just the things that don't make any sense, Frozen 5 being up and down, like all of that sort of converged in a game just like this where you saw some of everything.
And we ended up with what I did not expect in this situation. The Raiders won the game.
Yes.
35-32 in overtime.
OT.
So there was something really interesting about that game. So first and foremost, I'm not sure if you all knew this, and let me pull the music off on this one because I think it's an explanation as to why people were freaking out about what went down as we discussed through it.
Okay.
So in this game, because the Colts lost, both teams would make the playoffs if they tied.
Mm-hmm.
I saw two bets that were put down about this game, which is extremely interesting. One guy basically bet that there will be a tie in this game, and he took the Jaguars money line for like 20 something bucks.
Wow.
For like a $10,000 payout. Even better. Another guy did a bet. yeah, I know, right? Another guy did a bet. And in his bet, he bet that there will be a tie every quarter throughout this game.
Mm-hmm. And
it was like a $20 bet that paid out $110,000.
No way.
Yes way.
Oh, my God.
And it was both parlays. The parlays neither one of them hit, of course, because we did not get the beauty of just tie after tie after tie. So, but if they would have tied in this game, they both made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The winner goes to the playoffs. The loser misses out, which bumped the Steelers into the playoff spot. So it was a lot of moving pieces that happened in this game. So basically, as the game started, people said, why don't they just both go out there and kneel 15 times and just call it a tie?
Right.
They both make the playoffs and go. There's only one reason why they didn't. They're division rivals. Mm-hmm. Why would you help your division rival make the playoffs when you can be the one to stick the knife in them, the slow knife, right into the rib cage, and watch them just quiver to the ground?
It's very detailed.
And no longer make the playoffs. Yeah, I actually dream about doing this to you once a week. So, so the Raiders knocked off the Chargers, and there was a question that was populated about this because of a questionable timeout taken by Brandon Staley.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy, you think it was fair or unfair to say that the head coach cost the Chargers this game with that timeout?
Yes, he absolutely cost the Chargers the victory in this game because he failed in real time to see the bigger picture of what was happening. You know, they say that oftentimes football teams take on the personality of their coach. Like you look at a lot of the Patriots teams and they just seem to play like just a group full of just Bill Belichick disciples. You know, they don't beat themselves. They play hard. Yeah, really good defensive teams. And they even say that about quarterbacks, too, that quarterbacks can often take on the personality of their coach because I think in part, in some ways, going back to Belichick, why he and Brady were so successful was because I think Brady sort of took on some of the characteristics of Belichick just in terms of preparation, in terms of details especially. Mm-hmm. They always agreed on the finer details of the game. But I think in this instance, you saw that again. You saw that sort of symbiotic relationship between quarterback and coach, but you saw the quarterback, in a sense, having more influence over the coach because Justin Herbert being a young quarterback, what is he? He's young, he's inexperienced, he's up and down, fails to see the bigger picture at times. That's exactly what happened to Brandon Staley in this moment because he couldn't see the bigger picture that despite being division rivals who want to stick the knife in each other's ribs, as I am now going to do to you before you do to me, he should have known that they were giving him the opportunity to get into the playoffs. But he didn't think that they were. He didn't see the bigger picture. He didn't believe what he and everybody else who was watching that game was seeing. So he calls a timeout. They say, okay, all right. We're going to get this first down. We're going to kick the field goal, and we're sending all of you to Cabo. That's exactly what happened. So I think a big part of why that happened is, again, he's young, just like Herbert. He's going to grow. He's going to be great. But in this instance, he became like his quarterback instead of his quarterback becoming like him.
I'm completely opposite from you. That timeout had nothing to do with them winning or losing that game.
Yes,
this is the reason why I say it.
All right, I want to hear this.
So, first off, of course, as we mentioned, all the conspiracies is that when the Chargers called that timeout, it pissed the Raiders off, and they said, "Screw you guys, we're going to go ahead and end this game." They said that the minute they took the coin toss at the beginning of the game. They're division rivals. What makes the Cowboys would not do this for the Eagles? The Giants would not do this for the Washington football team, whatever they're going to be named on February 2nd. None of them, no division rival would do this for each other. So the thought that the only time I could see this working out, that either one of these teams doing this, is if the Chargers played like the Ravens or the Raiders played the Steelers. Because they would love to tie and knock out the Ravens or the Steelers or one of these teams. They would knock out a rival. They're not going to do this for each other. That's just not how it works. So this is the reason why I don't think Staley was going to lose this. That timeout lost the game for him. Looking at the play before, Jacobs ran it 7 yards up the field. It looked like the Chargers weren't prepared for the next run that was coming, but irregardless if they called timeout or not, Josh Jacobs was going to run the ball for like 10 yards on the next play, which led to them setting everything up and kicking the 47-yard field goal. No matter how you sliced it, in this game, the Raiders ran for 174 yards on the ground on 34 attempts, averaging 5 yards a carry. The Chargers averaged 4 yards a carry with 21 carries for 85 yards. The Raiders was going to do this anyway. It did not matter. The game was at the end. Everybody's exhausted. It's the last game of the season. You're worn. They're just going to run down their throat anyway, and it worked.
I'm completely opposite of that. I wonder how Chargers fans are feeling
they're
right
pissed.
now. Yeah. I disagree because part of how you're looking at this in the sense of to help a division rival is just us helping a division rival, but it's not that. You're actually helping yourself because let's say we reverse this back. We have a chance to do it over. So let's say the Raiders are in that exact same scenario. So they say, okay, we can kneel this out or we can give it to the running back. Jacobs just go down, let the time run out. We both make it. That's just it right there. We both make it. So by continuing to go for it, you actually are putting yourself at risk of what's already in the bag. Yes, it kind of sucks that if we kneel this out, our division rival's going to go, but we get to go as well.
Oh, yeah. The other thing to remember with this, too, is that if the Raiders and the Chargers tied, I think the Raiders were going to have to play the Chargers in the first round.
Yeah.
No. They would play the Chiefs in the first round.
Yeah. Well,
you don't want to play the hottest team in the NFL in the first round.
Probably not. But you still get in.
Instead, they're playing the Bengals, which I think with the youth, they have a chance of actually beating them.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they have.
We'll get to that.
They got a better chance of beating them than they did the Chiefs.
Maybe if they were at home, they would. But no.
Right,
they're not going to beat Cincinnati,
Chiefs
unfortunately.
So the Steelers get the pleasure of playing them instead.
Now, didn't Derek Carr after this game say that timeout that they call changed their mindset as far as what they were actually going to do?
I mean, he said that, but I bet you they had in the books already. Because I put it like this: if the Raiders were going to just take the tie and fall out, why would they run it on the first two plays? Just kneel it. You could just kneel it twice and been done.
Well, no, because at that time, didn't they need to run some clock? Didn't they need to pick up a first down or two in order to let the clock run a little bit more to where they could manage that time within their own power and knowing that they wouldn't have the timeout? Since you only get 2 in overtime, that the Chargers wouldn't have enough timeouts in order to stop the clock beyond that point.
It was 1st and 10 at the 2-minute warning. They had plenty of time to just kneel it 3 times and the game be over.
Yeah. Well, maybe they decided to do that after they crossed the 50. Okay, you know what? Look at where we are. Okay, we're doing good on this drive, but let's just kneel it out.
They ran it at 3rd and 8. Derek Carr passed it to Zay Jones, got the 11 yards, which put them at the Charger 45, 1st and 10, 2-minute warning. So, irregardless, they were going to hand the ball to Josh Jacobs, and they were going to eat up clock, get in field goal range, and kick it.
I don't think they were. I think Derek Carr, he literally told us that this changed their mindset. This changed everything. It's not necessarily what I would have done because I think they made the right choice. But what I'm saying is Brandon Staley helped them to make an even better choice by running a play and getting them out of the playoffs. So nobody wants to believe. I mean, and they knew going into this that if there were to be a tie, and everybody had to be thinking about this when they went into overtime, like, oh my God, this is about to be a tie. just like everybody's been talking about now because of what happened with the Colts.
Yeah, everybody was wanting them to go ahead and just kneel it and just see if it would happen. But Derek Carr said at the beginning of the game that that's not something he'd ever participate in, and that he's going to go out there and he wants to beat the Chargers. So that tells me that
I don't believe it.
No chance.
I don't believe it
Before the game.
And then what did he say after the game had started? There's one thing to say that before the game, but then once the game has happened,
we're just changing
so what he just said what he said for no reason at the end of the game. He had no reason to say that. That literally did not change their approach because of that timeout.
They changed their mind that, you know what, we're going to go ahead and just run it down there, keep running down their throat.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, his timeout did, yes. Because they weren't going to do that.
They were
because he took the timeout. Because he took the timeout, he said, "Okay, fine. You really do want us to stick this knife between your ribs. Now we're going to Jacobs, 132 rushing yards. Go for it."
No, they basically were going to pass it across the field and get that field goal range and kick it anyway.
They were going to pass it.
You know what? It makes more sense for us to just run it down your throat.
Right? They were never going to pass that. Why would you pass it when Jacobs is running right through them?
I mean, or they decide to go to different sides.
This is Staley's fault. This is completely his fault.
I don't blame Staley for it.
I do.
If I blame Staley, I blame it for how bad their defense was in general in stopping the run in this game.
Well, they got to handle that through the draft and free agency because that was their Achilles heel all year long, and it came back to bite them in this game especially.